and really, learn a few things along the way from, the Falcons staff and the Jaguars staff. So great opportunity for us to get some exposure and learn some stuff too.
Zach Martin on the field right now in the very important part of his practice at Reese's Senior Bowl practice on this Wednesday. His final chance in pads, and it's one-on-one right now. Offensive line against defensive line.
This, I think, has been the most interesting position group all week long on the North practices. Some of the higher-rated players in the game for the North. That was Brandon Linder, the guard from the University of Miami. He's a guy that competes. Might not be the greatest athlete, but as a guard, he's a brawler. He's a tough guy. He's got a little nasty to him, and coaches like him more than scouts do because of that. There's Richburg. That's Daniel Jeremiah's guy that just got beat there. Richburg. You there, Daniel?
Hey, I'm Mike. Plenty good, baby. I'm not getting off that Richburg train anytime soon, man.
I'm on it, too. He's just not as good as Schwenke. Now he's working against the 350-pound Ellis, Jelly. Now, we see how he shot his hands inside that time, Daniel? When those interior offensive linemen get their hands inside and get a hold on the jersey, they win.
Absolutely. That's exactly what it is. It's always a fight for hand position, and then if you don't get that initial position, can you rework your hands to regain that leverage? If your hands are wide in this drill, you will lose every time.
And there's Richardson. Now, he jumped on at the end, but that's a win by Penn State right there. Cyril Richardson, I think, with any kind of speed, has struggled this week. Any kind of redirection where his feet have to redirect, he has struggled. Now, if you get him one-on-one, head up, he's going to beat you up.
And there's the man you just answered the social media question about, Mike. Aaron Donald out of Pitt.
Here he is. Good week in these drills right here. Boom. See his handwork? He just knocked down Cyril Richardson's hands and then ripped through. That's a basic defensive tackle technique or a defensive lineman technique. And every time speed gets on Richardson, he has struggled. Now, here's a great one. Zach Martin on offense. Michael Sam, an explosive edge guy from Missouri, on defense. There's another Zach Martin. When you see it, that 6-inch punch. We heard Phil Savage, Paul, yesterday talk about an ability to punch in a 6-inch area and generate power. That's what you saw right there from Zach Martin.
All-American Trent Murphy now going against Martin.
Good one. Murphy trying to use his length. Martin just sticks him. That's another win for Zach Martin. So whether it's a length or explosion, Martin wins 2 times in a row there.
Zach Martin trying to do what Eric Fisher and Lane Johnson and Kyle Long all did last year at the Senior Bowl. That's elevate their first-round status here in practice. And based off a couple of plays right there, doing a nice job.
Jack Muhort, the right tackle, right now. He played left tackle at Ohio State. His Clemson tape was not good. However, the rest of the year was really solid. I think he's a starting right tackle. Clemson comes at you with some speed off the edge, and he struggled a little bit with that in the Clemson game.
Will Clark out of West Virginia after a solid outing last week at the East-West Shrine game. Got the call up.
He went speed the first time and converted speed to power that time. That means you start to the outside edge of the offensive player and then come right in under his chin strap with full power on a bull rush. This is a great drill. Okay, this is Schofield, who played right tackle at Michigan, and I think he's a right tackle. They've been playing him at guard this week. I can't see him surviving inside, but I think he's a solid right tackle candidate.
And here comes Rashid Hageman out of Minnesota.
Yeah. Here's a good one. Good job by Schofield. See where those hands were? The hands were inside the 2 9s. And as soon as he did that and anchored by dropping the weight on dropping his hips, he wins. Really good technique by Schofield. Paulie, this is fun.
I love watching you during this drill. I like watching Mike Tice. Everybody gets excited.
It's funny. As a former defensive back, I never thought I'd get that excited about watching O-lineman and D-line. But I think the games, outside of the outstanding quarterbacks, I think games at every level of football are won and lost right here.
Ready, go!
Daquan Jones from Penn State, power.
first team All-Big Ten this past season at Penn State. Really jumped up his disruptive production with 11.5 tackles for loss. Only had 4 total in his first 3 seasons and stepped it up in a big way this past fall.
Well, here's a small school kid, Kadeem Edwards, working against another small school kid from La Tech, Ellis. And now Kadeem Edwards is a guy that came out of high school at about 360, and it was a sloppy 360. Not that 360's ever really pretty, but he's gotten skinnier. He's developed. He's kind of a raw developmental prospect that's working against speed right now, and he's not going to win again. Aaron Donald's kind of laughing right now. These drills are easy for Aaron Donald. I'm sorry, Paul, go.
Looks a lot like the fall did when he had 28.5 tackles for loss.
I had fun watching him on tape against Notre Dame because Notre Dame's left guard and left tackle are both NFL starters, and the 3 of them really got into it in that game. And now he's going power. We just talked about converting speed to power. That's what a defensive tackle did right there. The first one was an edge rush where he won very quickly outside. That time, when you get that offensive lineman concerned about your edge, you come right back up and jack him on his jaw.
Kareem Martin out of North Carolina on defense, and Brandon Thomas out of Clemson. And DJ, you talked about Brandon Thomas yesterday. He kind of caught your eye.
Oh, he had a solid day. Look, he's got quick feet. Now, he's not a natural bender. You don't see him get real low to the ground, but he's got quick feet, and he can redirect versus counter moves, which is something you'll see in this drill. Now, if he's going to get a chance to go up against Murphy here, you're going to see what kind of strength he has, because Murphy has some real shock in his hands.
Yeah.
Loves the power rush.
Here it comes. Now, Murphy again, hand in the dirt or stand up. I like him standing up, and I think he can drop. And again, he's going to get a lot of hustle sacks, a lot of length sacks, but I think he's one of the most versatile guys in the draft. He's not as polished an edge guy as some are. Schofield, Stones, Michael Sam, and I'm telling you, this Schofield kid, who was a late ad, has helped himself this week.
Having a chance to work against Michael Sam out of Missouri right there, who led the SEC in sacks and also tackles for loss.
Okay, you've got an edge guy, and now we've got Gale from Virginia Tech. Schofield buries him again. How about Michael Schofield?
What a 5 minutes he's having.
Hey, welcome to the NFL, big boy.
How good is Schofield, DJ?
I agree with what Mike said. You know, he's played some guard. I think he's better suited to be a right tackle. He's a little bit tall and long, can get a little high inside, but outside, yeah, you like the way he's playing. He uses that length, uses that leverage, and keeping the pocket clean here today.
Good job by Linder out of Miami on that one as well.
Yeah, he's got a little nasty to him, and a lot of offensive line coaches like that kind of guy. Not a great athlete, but I see him drop the head there. As soon as your head drops, you lose. Really nice job by the defensive lineman that time from UConn, who had a really good, Shamar Stephen, who had a really good senior year this year.
Rashid Hageman back at it again.
Larson, the center. Utah State. Okay, that's a win by Larson. Shot the hands inside and ran the defensive tackle, Hageman, past the quarterback. And Paul, in this day and age of the Tom Brady's and the Peyton Manning's and the Drew Breeses, pass protection on the inside, those guys love a firm pocket, a quick set up front so they can step up into the pocket. So I think the center position is every bit as important as the left tackle, which gets all the acclaim.
And think about what we saw in the AFC title game against Tom Brady. How many times did the Broncos get to him, bringing only 4 with their inside guys?
Inside pressure for a quarterback that doesn't have great escapability is the worst kind of pressure you can get. Zach Martin from Notre Dame.
Daquan Jones out of Penn State.
You notice they had Martin at guard that time. I think he's more natural just because of all the reps he's had, but I watched him play guard this summer at Notre Dame, and he stepped in, it was seamless. And there's a lot of people in the NFL, evaluators, that think his most natural position is guard. Here's a good one right here. Him and Don, is this Donald? Good fight, both of them.
A spirited effort here by the offensive and defensive linemen. For good reason, as important a drill as they'll have all week. And what a few minutes it was for Michael Schofield out of Michigan. Made himself some money in that sequence there. Network. And it is now time to check out the Reese's Player of the Day. Who do you got, Mike?
You know, I just got to go back to the one-on-one O-line, D-line drill, and Michael Schofield, 6'6.5", 305 pounds, not a highly acclaimed kid, a late ad. I thought he stoned everybody in this drill. Now, he's a right tackle only, in my opinion. They've tried him at guard. Right tackle only is not a good thing to be in the NFL unless you're a starter. So I think he has the potential to be a starting right tackle. He's got to get stronger. But, Michael, nice day today.
You think about the opportunity the offensive linemen have here in Mobile these couple of days in practice. All you got to do is go back to last year's draft when Eric Fisher vaulted all the way to the top of the draft. A lot of help from the Senior Bowl here. Lane Johnson, he was a first-round question, ended up as the 4th overall pick. Kyle Long was in the teens there. So excellent opportunity, one like no other for the offensive linemen here this week. Mike Mayock, Charles Davis, Paul Burmeister, Daniel Jeremiah on the sideline. And as we get ready to put this practice here to rest, what stands out to you about the last hour?
I'm going back again to the O-line, D-line. And, Paul, you just mentioned a bunch of high-level draft picks. Kyle Long, who helped himself. The top 10 picks that we had here last year. But we forget we get a guy like Jordan Mills that played in this game. 5th-round pick. The Chicago Bears took Kyle Long at right guard. They took Jordan Mills at right tackle, and they solidified their pocket. And you look at a guy like Michael Schofield. He could be that kind of player. But Aaron Donald, as advertised, and I think Zach Martin continues to help himself. Zach Martin is a technician that can start on the outside or the inside.
And Kyle Long's going to the Pro Bowl. Not bad
that,
for
right?
a rookie year. I'm going to talk about a couple guys that haven't gotten much attention so far. Christian Kirksey, linebacker from Iowa. I thought he was tremendous today in the pass rushing drills against the running backs. They had a hard time blocking him. And then when we got the team and pass skeleton, Jordan Zumwalt, someone we haven't talked about at all this week. Linebacker from UCLA. I've seen him over the years. He plays with an intenseness and a fury and does a really nice job in dropping into coverage. I watched him run down the pipe, down the middle of the field in that cover 2, the Tampa 2, and take away a deep crosser and then come back to the other side and take away another one. Really nice job by him today.
Our Daniel Jeremiah took in the entire practice from the field. DJ, who made an impression on you here today?
Well, sometimes, Paul, what you see is what you get. You watch a guy on fall tape, then you come out here to the All-Star game and you see the same guy. And I was hoping with Hageman from Minnesota, the big defensive tackle, he'd kind of declare himself. When you watch him on tape, you see these unbelievable plays and you see a long drought period when you're studying him. And then we get him out here in the Senior Bowl, we're seeing a lot of the same. We see those flash plays, and then he'll go 3 or 4 reps where you're a little disappointed. So sometimes you kind of are what you are.
All right, and in the case of Aaron Donald, I know that's a good thing. Disruptive on tape, and he's also had a very good day here today. Good week for Aaron Donald, the man who won the Lombardi Award. And a quick peek ahead to what we're going to see in the afternoon practice?
Why not stay O-line, D-line? I mean, a couple of guys I'm looking forward to is Gabe Jackson, a big offensive guard, a gap scheme mauler, and also Joel Bitonio, a very little-known offensive tackle who's trying to kick out inside from Nevada. I want to get a look at those guys this afternoon, Charles.
Well, we spent a lot of time talking about D Ford and the job that he's done from Auburn. Chris Smith from Arkansas, here's a great opportunity. Keep coming along like you have been because he's a similar type of a player. He can be explosive off the edge.
And with the kind of day we have here, that means cold but not as much wind as yesterday. Going to be much better. To evaluate the quarterbacks, that would be Derek Carr, Fresno State, Jimmy Garoppolo, Eastern Illinois, and David Fales from San Jose State. They'll be out here momentarily. That's going to do it for the North team here at Reese's Senior Bowl practice on a Wednesday. We invite you or ask you, don't go anywhere because coming up next, immediately following this practice, it's the South team taking the field led by Gus Bradley and the Jacksonville Jaguar staff. A very big